midfielder, and since the painter is getting on the chair, this will be it. This will be the fourth survivor elimination of SST Wolves right here, getting the 5-point game they needed to make this fourth round the last round of this tournament and to take home the championship title of the Call of the Abyss 5-2.
In every rise, there is a fall. Wolves had it all, but now they struggle to replicate a fraction of what they once were.
Let's congratulate Zeta Division for winning Core 8 Grand Finals.
The dominance Wolves Esports had as an organization is something we rarely see in any form of competitive esports. With back-to-back IVL wins in 2021, the KOA 5 trophy was more of an embellishment of the already stellar success the team had, rather than an actual monumental win. However, even gods fall, as the team struggled to replicate the same results they once had. Roster changes came, a new hunter to replace the veteran in hopes of lighting a new flame for the team, which seemed bright with its win against GG back in 2023 IVL, only to be followed by an 8th place finish during KOA 7, even going as far as to place 3rd in their own group, albeit Wolves faced the eventual 4th, 3rd, and 2nd placers during the span of the global tournament. The team would miss playoffs in the 2024 IVL summer, an anomaly that we last saw from the team all the way back in 2020, but a bounce back during autumn brought the team back with a 2nd place finish. We saw a glimpse of what Wolves was, the predator that once loomed over the competitive scene of Identity V with such dominance. Yet, as they inched towards the global finals, they swiftly went from predator to prey. And unfortunately, it was not them writing history this time around, as Zeta set out to be the first non-Chinese team to win the Call of the Abyss tournament. Coming into the IVL 2025 summer playoffs, Wolves was regarded as one of the biggest favorites to win the tournament. Yet, their plans were immediately derailed as Weibo Gaming, one of the most promising teams despite Alex's departure, would knock them to the losers bracket. They then faced GG, who was blazing hot after defeating 5th seeds ZQ last week to steal their playoff spot, and 6th seed TE, a team that has been inconsistent but has been rising as a legitimate playoff threat. It went to 5 rounds, but Wolves always had the upper hand and took out GG. The next day, the team now had to face GR. At this point, GR was considered the favorite to win, but MRC barely squeaked by during the upper bracket to put GR to the lower side. It was neck and neck, and heading into round 5, they shared the same round wins, but there was a slight point advantage towards GR. It felt like Wolves' run was gonna be cut short, but EAV managed to play a clutch Opera Singer endgame that resulted into a tree kill. The pieces fell into Wolves' lap, as Jin struggled to tree K back, with Wolves taking the final round. Unfortunately for them, there was no time to rest, as Day 3 marked back-to-back games. They were now facing MRC, who just lost to Weibo in the winners finals. MRC took first round, but Choi responded with a clown to take round 2. A surprise nightmare from Bailu became reminiscent of recent IGL champions reject, but with just a 2k, round 3 became a tie for both teams. Choi would select Ivy in round 4 in Lakeside Village and take a surprising 3k. Bailu tries to replicate the same magic to only then get tree escaped by Wolves' survivors. That was more than enough to swing the momentum to Wolves, who took 2 ties apiece to finish round 5 and secure their final slot. where they would try to get their revenge against Weibo Gaming. The day has come. It was Finals Sunday. On one side, Weibo Gaming's new-gen roster of Persica, Gokor, Koting, and Nye ushered a new generation of Identity V competitive, hoping to secure their first IVL win in franchise history. On the other side, Wolves, a team that once dominated, had fallen from grace following a series of events, injuries, and roster changes that saw the team slowly drift to what we once saw during the KOA 5 era, but finally standing inches closer to regaining what was once theirs. The first game started with Choai, a hunter they picked up following the events of KOA 6. During the grand finals in KOA 8, we saw Choai devastated on his performance against eventual champions Zeta Division. But heading into this match, he made sure this opportunity won't slip, as he catches Hui Yi making a mad dash to the dungeon to secure a 3K, followed by a tie from the Wolves' survivors to secure the first round. However, Weibo Gaming pounced back. Nye would get a 3K with Hullabaloo, and Choai, playing safe, chooses to waste a global ban to select Wax Artist. Unfortunately for him, he only gets a tie and yields the second round win to Weibo. Heading into round 3, Choai selects Ivy. Although Nye was considered as one of the top IVs at the time, which would amount to a ton of prep from Weibo Gaming's end, Choai was inches away from securing another 3K. However, Hui manages to open the gate right on time, and Aeroplanus with 3 jetpacks and hover safely makes his way to the dungeon. Wolves' survivors looked like they were about to escape Nye's opera singer in the second half, but unfortunately for them, they were unable to secure the body block that would allow D King to kite until the cipher was primed. And so, we head into round 4. At this point, Wolves' survivors were catching steam, and a 3 escape against Nye's breaking wheel swung the momentum towards Wolves. Weibo Gaming select a support-heavy team comp, with forward acting as a harasser, whilst female dancer and entomologist provide additional supporting tools. Entomologists also warded out any gamekeepers or clowns, and so Choai went the risky gamble of playing the tension insolence breaking wheel in the hopes of securing the tie. Unfortunately for him, Weibo Gaming survivors took control and secured a 3 escape of their own. As the survivors escaped out of the gate, we briefly see a sigh coming from Choai. Wolves' window is getting smaller and smaller. Heading into round 5, the scores were tied up. At this point, no team in IVL history has won the championship, coming all the way from the 5th place match. Round 5 could only be described as an absolute bloodbath. The survivors barely popping the cipher in time as the hunter switches to the meteorologist, despite the gravekeeper with no items and dead on chair being close by. And the survivors managing to get out of the gate in time before Nye could catch up with them following a backdoor rescue. But now, all Choai had to do was tie. However, following his breaking wheel getting 3 escaped, it felt like this was still an even game. Again, at this point, no team in IVL history has won the championship, coming all the way from the 5th place match. Well, there was one team.
还没游戏结束。
Wolves will remain as one of the most dominant teams in Identity V history. The team already achieved a monumental goal following their dominant 2021 IVL season paired with their KOA 5 victory. But this win marks the 4th IVL title for Wolves, officially marking them as the organization with the most IVL wins above GG's 3 titles. And it feels like we're looking at another start of dominance, as coincidentally, this same anomaly of winning IVL after dropping down to the lower brackets early on is reminiscent of their win during the 2021 IVL summer. Whether we do see Wolves win this next KOA is definitely a question mark for the future. But Wolves proved that even today, they remain as the strongest China mainland team, and that they will continue to dominate regardless of era.